Okay, so I got a next question right here. N is two-digit number. The lowest common multiple LCM of 84 and N is 504. Find N. Okay, before we solve this question, I need to explain you with an example, right? How we're gonna do it, so that you have a clear idea of next time if you are solving this question, right? So I'm gonna take an example, right? I'm gonna take this. Let's assume that this time I have been given N value, right? For example, I'm just gonna say that I need to find the LCM of basically 28 and 30, right? LCM of 28 and 30. This is an example so that you can have a clear concept of what I'm gonna do to find this N, right? So I know that if I using the same thing, right, 28 over here, and then I use the same thing, right, I will get my product prime factors as 2 power 2 times 7. Remember to use prime factor because in the part A1 they use prime factors, right? So we have to still continue it with the prime factors. That's why I choose a example like this, right? So you have 28 and then its prime factor is 2 times 7, right? 2 power 2 means 2 times 2, right? It's the same, nothing different, right? And then you have a the basically product, right? Product of this prime factor is basically 2 times 3 times 5, right? Okay, now to make LCM you need to see what are basically missing over here, right? And you have to basically multiply them up, right? So LCM, to find the LCM, right, I need to see, okay, I have 2 over here, they both are same, right? But this 2 is greater than this 2. Why? This is 2 power 2 means 2 times 2, which is 4, and this is only just 2, right? So I say that this can cover up for this, right? So I don't have to write this 2 square times 2, right? I can basically say that it's 2 square, right? It's covering for this thing as well, right? Okay, now we have to see that 3 is alone. 3 is not over here, right? So we can write simply 3 over here. We can see that 5 is not over here as well. So we can write it 5 over here as well, right? So now I see that 7 is not over here, right? Over here. So I can write this 7 over here as well, right? So you get your LCM for this is basically 420. You can check it from internet. Check it from internet out, right? You will get your LCM as basically 420, right? Okay, now we are going to use the same concept, right? If you understand it, let me summarize it up. I took this product, prime factor products, right? Product value for this, it's basically 2 square plus 7 and then 2 times 3 times 5, right? These are the product, these are the products for these stuff, right? In prime factors, right? So to find LCM, I just basically did that whatever it's not, in these both, I will write it over here. I see there are like both having 2, but this is greater, right? So I can say that this can cover up for this thing, right? So I can say that 2 square 2, right? Okay, and then there's no 3 over here, I write 3, there's no 5 over here, I wrote 5, there's no 7 over here, I wrote 7, and then I said this whole thing is basically 420. You can check it out. You will find that LCM is basically 420, right? So LCM basically means least common factor, right? Okay, it's lowest common factor or least common factor, right? So we're going to use the same exact method to find this N, right? Okay, so basically first what we are gonna do is basically find the prime factor of basically 84, right? And we have find it in the previous question, which was 2 square times 3 times 7, right? Okay, so now you have to find the prime factor of basically 504 as well, right? So basically we can compare it and then we can find it easily, right? So I know I'm taking it will make sense, it will make sense. You can do it this way as well, right? So for this prime factor I get it as 3 times 3 2, right? 3 2 times 7. Okay, now let's see what LCM it can have, right? So I can see that LCM which makes this stuff, right? For just making this stuff, right? I just take the product prime factor, right? I need the LCM this, right? LCM which is basically 504. I need this LCM. I don't know how to get it. I will tell you how to get it, right? So you just do basically the simple steps right here, okay? You do number 1, you just check that, okay, I can see that basically the 2 square root, this 2 square and this is 2 cube, right? this thing can cover up for this because this thing is bigger, right? So I can write 2 cube, right? Okay, now I can see that this is 3 and there is 3 always also over here, right? I can see that this 3 can cover up for this, right? So it's 3 square. They both have 7, right? Okay, it's your choice. You can write it 7, right? Okay, and you can write it as this as well, right? If you don't want to include the common stuff, right? It's up to you. I will tell you why I rejected this thing, right? Number one, this thing is gonna basically give me 504, right? And I don't need 504 because it asked me to give me a 2-digit value, right? So I have to remove this common stuff, right? This 7 is common, right? They both have the same power, nothing is different, right? So I can remove this and make it in this stuff, right? So this thing will basically give me, right, a 72. You can calculate it as well, right? Okay, this is 504, this is 72. I don't need this 504 because it said just give me 2-digit number, right? So this is 2-digit number, and you know it's following the same thing that I have told you in the example as well, right? Okay, so this is your 72 as your answer. You can practice it with different examples, take different LCMs, try it out yourself. You will, once you get the hang of it, you can do it much easily, right? So this is the final answer.